So what is it like to go on a cruise as a blind person? I'll talk about it coming up. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Blind to Billionaire. So what is it like to go on a cruise as a person who is blind? It's a very interesting experience from my perspective. So as I mentioned in my other videos, Corey and I really like to travel. It's something we love to do. And there's two types of travel that we do. We like to go on cruises, and we like to go to like a beach destination and hang out there for a week or 9 or 10 days. So it's very different. Although they're very similar, it's very different. So a cruise there's a lot more activity going on. So today's actually a sea day, so we've been on the ship since last night, and we will be until tomorrow morning when we arrive in Aruba. So it's a very different experience, because today, like a sea day, we're on board here, there's roughly 5,000 people on the ship right now, versus, the days that we hit port, just about everybody gets off, with the exception of some crew and a few passengers that actually stay on the ship. Most people get off, and we do as well. So the difference why it's a different experience is because, we get off the ship, and it's typically we're in a new place we haven't been to before, or if we have been there, we've only been there probably one time. So typically we're figuring things out when we get off the ship. We're trying to figure out, where the taxis are and how to get to the destination that we want to go to. And then once we arrive, we also need to figure out, okay, where do we want to be? Where are the chairs we want to stay at? Like, what beach do we want to hang out at all day? So that's very different compared to going to a beach for, like a week or 10 days, because all of that's already planned out. When we go to the beach destination, we just go and hang out there for the specified amount of time, and then we just basically hang out on the beach all day. Versus with a cruise, there's a lot more like traveling going on within the cruise. So just about every day when we hit a port, we're getting off the ship, we're traveling around the island that we're visiting, and then we're getting back on the ship with all these 5,000 roughly people on the ship. So on the port days, when we come back to the ship, getting off, disembarking, and embarking is kind of chaotic, because all the people are basically leaving the ship at the same time, and just about everyone is coming back, getting on the ship at the same time. So it's a little bit chaotic and congested, disembarking and embarking at these different ports. But on sea days, it's a little bit congested. So when we're on the ship, we typically like to hang out at the pool up on maybe like the 11th or 12th deck, near the pool or in the solarium. And we like to find a relatively quiet area. So today we hung out at the solarium most of the day, and then we also went to the pool, which is on the same deck. But when we went to the pool, there was live music, and there were a lot of people around the pool, in the pool, sitting on the edges. It was just a lot of people around. So luckily, shortly after we got to the pool, the live music went on a break. So we were so thankful for that, because it is so loud. You can't even hear each other talk sitting right next to each other. And then, once the live band came back and started making noise again, along with all the people talking and cheering or whatever they were doing, it just got to be really loud. So for me, since I depend on my hearing so much to tell me what's going on around me, clearly I could tell that, yes, there was live music and there was a lot of people around from all the noise and talking. But I didn't necessarily like that. Even though I was in the pool, I really wanted to stay, but I found it just to be so irritating, because I couldn't hear anything. Corey was literally sitting right next to me, and I couldn't even hear her. Like, we were like yelling at each other to talk. So we like to find quiet areas on the ship, on sea days or in the evenings after dinner, just to hang out and just kind of decompress from all the noise and commotion, and then kind of go back into it and maybe go to a show or some kind of other gathering. So on the ship here, there's a lot of activities. So in the evening, we always like to go to a show. So last night we went to a band that was playing in the auditorium. And the cool thing about that was I didn't need to see these guys performing on stage. I could just listen to the music that they were playing. So for that, it was fun. For an hour, we got to sit there and listen to these guys play. And then we got up and left, and we found somewhere else to sit and just talk for a while. So yeah, it's an interesting experience. If you're blind or visually impaired and you have a hard time in congested areas, or you have a hard time, being in loud areas, maybe a cruise wouldn't be right for you. You can definitely find quiet areas that are not full of people, but it's a little bit more difficult on sea days because everybody's out and about and everybody's confined to the ship. So as far as the crew goes, the crew is incredibly helpful and accommodating. So we actually are eating in the main dining room, and the two, the waiter and the drink guy that serve us each night, those guys are really cool. They're very helpful. So on the very first night, we told them about me. We told them that I'm blind, and they've been just so helpful and really kind. So every time they come over, the one guy will actually put his hand on my back, and then he'll just like kind of touch me gently, and then he'll say like, "Sir Matt, like, what can I get you?" So it's kind of funny, and he's been really nice. And then when they come over with the food and the plates, again, they'll address me and let me know like what it is and what they're putting in front of me. So it's been really helpful. They're really accommodating. I guess the thing is, if you don't tell the crew members, they definitely don't know. I mean, they might catch up on it. They might catch on to the blindness over time, but if they don't know, they won't be able to do anything to accommodate. But since we told them right away, it was really easy, and they were very accommodating and nice. And actually, after we get done recording this, we're going to go back to the main dining room to eat dinner. So overall, it's a really fun experience. We love to travel, and cruising is just a different element. It's a little bit more chaotic, but it allows us to view or to visit numerous different islands in the Caribbean, and kind of plan out where we want to go to and visit for a longer extended vacation, where we can just go and literally just sit on the beach all day every day for a week or more. So that's about it as far as a cruise goes. It's a really cool experience. If you've never cruised before, or if you love to travel, I'd highly recommend it. It's just a really cool way to visit a lot of different places in a short period of time. And like what Corey and I like to do, we like to do this as more of a research trip to see where we want to go back to at some point in the future for more of an extended stay. So if you're blind or visually impaired and you have any hesitations, feel free to leave any comments or questions down below. I'd be happy to answer anything that you may have. Otherwise, if you do plan something, feel free to call ahead to the cruise line too and just let them know your situation. And they have a lot of accommodations that they can do for you to make your experience a lot better. I mentioned in a different video that you can actually schedule a guided tour of the ship. So when you get here, you can actually have a tour guide, someone personally walk you around the ship and tell you everything about it. So that's always an option too if you want it. So anyway, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. Otherwise, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you look in the lower right corner of the video, there's a picture of me. If you click that, that will get you subscribed to the channel. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you again on a future video. Thanks again.